videos about how do you know whether or not you forgave somebody? What's the fruit of unforgiveness? Now, often, if you get in an argument with whoever, I was gonna say significant other, spouse, whoever, it doesn't matter, friends, whoever, and you say, I forgive you for that, often you're gonna see kind of like a little setting of remorse, or maybe a hug, or a tear, or this or that, which leads you to believe, wow, that person really forgave me. Thanks for that, whatever. And you walk away, that person keeps living their life, and etc. But what you see all too often is that when those people reconnect on a different day, different time, and something else happens to step on that person's toe, that person brings up the offense that they supposedly forgave you for. That is the indicator, the red flag that says, wait, I thought you forgave me for that. Why are you bringing it up against me? And they usually say, well, I forgive, but I don't forget, kind of thing. Uh, and so, how do you know? How do you know whether you forgave that person really, truly, genuinely from your heart, and you let go of the offense, and or if it was just a word that says, I forgive you, but really you didn't? How do you know? This is how you know. Uh, you know that you forgave somebody if when they do something else to you, it's not added to something else that now you wanna, you know, destroy them over. As an example, what I mean is that, let's say, if you use your imagination to play a scenario in your head of something that that person could do to you, that would be offensive to you. It could be stealing. It could go all the way to sleeping with your significant other. It could be anything, right? But if when you play that movie out in your head, and you're watching that movie of that person doing something to you, that is stepping on your toes in any which way, and you would look at that person and really have a rage on the inside of you to want to attack that person, uh, and how, to what extent you would attack that person, to what extent is the extent of the unforgiveness that you have. So some people, I'm gonna go all the way to the extreme with it. Some people would go all the way to killing that person. That's the extreme, right? Of holding unforgiveness, of a bitter heart, of something that was extremely offensive, and basically they reconciled, but now that person does something else, and it's almost like that thing, that sleeping giant, just woke up, and it said, remember me? Yeah, I remember what that person did to me. And it has a voice, and then it's embitterment on the inside. And so that's a good way to really try to see, like, if you got unforgiveness to somebody, you know. And let me just touch on why you should forgive. There's different analogies that I really I like and I agree with, and one of them is, unforgiveness is like drinking a cup of poison and then looking at the person and waiting for them to die. That's a good analogy. The reason why it's a good analogy is that unforgiveness rots you from within. It really, it makes you into a bitter person. It entraps you. It puts you into a prison. Anybody that has unforgiveness never lets go of that person in their mind. They always have that person in their mind as a marker, saying, I remember you. I remember what you did. And if you think I'm gonna forgive you, you're crazy. But who are you harming? Because I've heard it been said before, and I'll repeat it because it's good. It makes a lot of sense. That person is living their life, and they're not thinking about you in the least. And you're entrapped in a prison cell thinking about that person and replaying that video over and over and over and over and over again in your head. of what they did to you. It could be rape, it could be whatever it is, right? And you just, I'm not forgiving that person. I'm not forgiving that person. And you think that you're doing them harm or something. You think that you're getting back at them or something. You think that you're getting something out of this deal, when really, in, in reality, you're hurting your own self, and that person's living their life jolly as can be, not thinking of you in the least, and they're living their life, you know? And they could be in the club, they could be partying it up, and they're not thinking of you, and you're just thinking of them, right? So forgiveness breaks the chains. It breaks the chains of that event happening in your life. It frees you, it liberates you, it removes that demon out of your life of trauma. That demon of trauma, that demon of that terrifies you, that demon that is always reminding you of what happened, you know? It frees you of all that. That's what forgiveness does. Failure to forgive is to stay in that place. And so, back to the original video, how do you know if you forgave? Well, how bad do you want to harm that person for what they did? Play an event in your head of that person, you know? And let's say, or maybe this is a better way to put it, okay? Maybe this is a better way. Think to yourself, this person is in the room, and I get to harm them from the place of what they have done to me, right, in the past. Think of all the things that they have done to you in the past. Okay, so you're looking at that, you're looking at all of it, right? And then you're in a room, and let's say they're tied up to a chair, so to speak. And you get to lay your best shot on them. You get to do whatever you want to them, right? And I know this is graphic, but this is a way to understand whether or not you hold unforgiveness in your heart towards that person. This is a test, the barometer on how extreme your unforgiveness is versus how not. So yeah, you know, the scenario goes like this. They're in a chair, they're tied up, and you're looking at them, and you're thinking of all the things they ever did to you, and you get to take revenge, right? The revenge is up to you. Do you do it or don't you? And if you do it, to what extent do you take it to get payback? Or an unforgiveness, forgiveness is when you choose not to take revenge. That's forgiveness. You're letting them off the hook. Forgiveness would be cutting the ropes from their hands and feet and setting them free from that chair and saying, I will not harm you. I would be justified in doing so. I could do it. But I want to be the bigger person, and I don't want to keep this cycle going. Keep this going. Violence and hatred and bitterness and strife, and that's a great way to know if you have unforgiveness or if you have forgiveness. I hope this video helps you out in some ways to figure out whether you have forgiveness or unforgiveness towards your parents, siblings, or even just a stranger. And if you want to forgive, take yourself to that place in the same way that you were taking yourself to the place of an isolated room with the person sitting down, tied up, and you get to take revenge on them. Take yourself to that place of that event and look at that person in that event in your imagination and say, you were wrong. You were so wrong in doing this to me. I didn't deserve that. I didn't earn that. I don't understand why you did that to me. But I release you. I let it go. I let it go. I forgive you. Watch what that happens for you.